All right, we are back for season 2, episode 3 of Garrett's Football Show. Of course, I'm your host, Garrett Sims. We're back in the garage this week. Now, this is going to be an episode like every episode of Garrett's Football Show. It's telling you an analysis of everything that happened in week 2 of NFL, and we're going to look into week 3. But let's hop right into it. So we had the Monday night game 2 days ago. Steelers. Well, there's 2 Monday night games, but it's only one that I want to talk about. And anyone that knows me or watched Garrett's Football Show knows what it's about to be. It's going to be about the Steelers. They had a very ugly win. Let me check that score. It's like 26-22. Against the Browns on Monday Night Football. If you looked at history, you knew the Steelers were going to win that game. I think we've won like 26 of the last Monday night games and like won like 50, some crazy number of the last however games against the Browns. The Browns haven't started 0-2 since like 2000 or since like 1990 something. Like it just wasn't happening. So if you looked at history, you knew the Steelers were going to win, but it looked awful. I'm going to start with the bright side, the defense. The defense is the reason we won that game. The defense was elite, and they put on a showing saying that the Steelers have the potential to be looked at as one of the best defenses in the league. That game was great. Alex Highsmith had something in my eye. Alex Highsmith had a beautiful game. Interception to start the day out. Had a lot of pressure. Got a lot of pressure on the quarterback, on Deshaun Watson. TJ Watt looking to break the sack record that he already has again. And I think TJ Watt proved with as good as Micah Parsons is, and I'll get into him later, TJ Watt, I will make a different comment. TJ Watt is the best pass rusher in the league. And that defense was amazing. They scored 2 touchdowns. They got a touchdown on the first play of the game that gave the Steelers offense a little bit of a cushion, which we needed, maybe even a little bit more. But that defense, nothing bad to say about it. They did their job and then some. That's Steel City. So let's move on. Alex Highsmith, great. TJ Watt, great. Defense, great. Okay. Now, last night, for the second week straight, we looked like we had potentially one of the worst offenses in the league. Kenny Pickett looked bad. Najee Harris looked bad. Our offensive line looked bad. And if you know from just watching anything with Garrett's Football Show, or if you know anything about the Steelers, Matt Canada, it's going to always be some shit talking with Matt Canada. Now, let me say this. I was excited about Pickett, and I would love to come in here and say this was Matt Canada's all Matt Canada's fault. But on Monday night, he didn't have a bad play call. Like, he came out first play of the game, it was a throw. Like, he threw the ball more, and from his play calling, I think he was trying to be more aggressive and trying to get Kenny into more of a flow, and I can't be mad at that. Now, some of the play calls were a little weird, like, why are you having Najee, who's slow as fuck, which was weird because those were his only 2 good runs of the game. He had 2 good runs. It's when he's going out, cutting to the side and trying to beat out into the edge. Those were the only 2 plays he had, but he's slow as fuck, so it just makes me feel weird, but the point that I'm trying to making with Matt Canada is overall, Matt Canada is the problem with the Steelers. But if you want to ask yourself what was the problem with yesterday or with Monday night's game, it was Kenny Pickett. It looks like he's gotten worse from the last few games of the regular season last year and from the preseason this year. It looks like he's missing easy throws. It's like he doesn't have a lot of chill and poise and confidence in the pocket, which is all the things that I was saying before the season started and last year. That's all the things I loved about Pickett. He's poised. He seems mature. He's confident. And now when I'm seeing him, it looks like he's just like a breath of fresh air whenever he makes a big throw. Like, it's not like that should have been happening. That's an easy throw. It's almost like, oh my God, that was a catch. It worked. Like, it does. When I look into his eyes, it's almost like that confidence is gone. When I watch him play, it's like he doesn't know what's going on. I'm wondering, like, is this something with him? Is this something with the team? Is it something with the connection between him and Matt Canada? But there's something where I'm looking at Pickett, and I can't lie, he has regressed. In the last 2 weeks, he's played awful. He's missed throws that I think he should miss, and I'm scared for the rest of the season with Pickett, because if he's going to continue to play like this, I think he'll get worse because his confidence will get worse. his ability to make throws will get worse. His timing will get worse because I think the mind is so much of an important thing with anything in life. And as a quarterback, if your mental is fucked up, I think it's going to lead to a lot of different things. And for some reason, I don't think the problem with Kenny Pickett is skill. I think it's something with that Steelers offense and how it's being ran, which of course still goes back to Matt Canada. But last night, I can't put it all on Matt Canada. Some of that was Pickett. So let me just start off with that. Pickett has to play better, and he looked bad. The next thing I'm going to say is throw the ball to Pickens more. Let him be a security blanket. I mean, our only big play of the game, he was able to find Pickens. There was a couple other tries where, they had some connection, but he missed them on some throws where he should have had them. I think the main thing that you need to do early in every game is get Pickens the ball, get Pickens an easy completion to him. That's just the main thing that has to be done. Sorry about that. I might edit that out. Najee, I don't get it with him. I'm about 2 weeks from just saying he sucks and we need to give up on Najee. I'm about a season away. Like, I'm not going to give up on Pickett until the whole season. But Najee, I'm about 2 to 3 just games where he just looks soft, and I hate the way he runs. I hate watching Najee run. I can't lie. But looking forward for the next couple of weeks, Pickett just needs to make the easy throws. He needs to stop losing it for us because the way we're going to win is by our defense, and the offense needs to complement the defense. And Pickett needs to just realize that. I don't even think he needs to be a game winner. I wanted him to be that at the beginning of the season, but now I'm just realizing I just need him to be a game manager and a little bit above that because the Steelers are going to need that because we don't have everything around him for he can just be a game manager. But for the most part, if he manages games, I think the Steelers will get to the playoffs, especially with the Bengals starting out 0-2, especially with how we beat the Browns, everything with that. Now let's look at the Steelers' next couple of games to get an idea of where I think they're going to be. So next they have the Raiders, then they have the Texans. Those should be two good games for Pickett to try. I mean, he started from the Browns defense, which is a defense that, it's in division. That's going to always be a hard game. Then he had the San Francisco 49ers defense. 2 weeks, 2 hard defenses, 2 hard games. You go to the Raiders, that's not a good defense. It's not a good offense. But I think as a matching, I hate to say it, like that's a pretty even game. Like that's a pick 'em. The spread on this is -1.5. Like that's even. And it's at the Raiders. So that 1.5 spread is only because it's a home game. This is a game for Pickett to, I feel like, get comfortable and not feel pressured. Texans even more. I think as a team, the Steelers are better than the Texans. Pickett should be able to come out and have a really good game. These 2 weeks, or if Pickett looks like this, like how he looked against those 2 good defenses, Myles Garrett, those pass rushers, he had Bosa. If he looks like this against the Raiders and the Texans for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be coming in here the week before the Ravens game, and I'm going to be very scared, and I don't even know how I'm going to talk. But that's all it is. Matt Canada, keep calling aggressive plays. Keep believing in Pickett. Pickett, I don't know what you need to do, but calm the fuck down. I still believe in you. Make the throws that I know you can make. You have 2 games where you should get 2 wins. If we come out 1-1, that is what we have to do at the very least. If this team is going to be what I think it can be and what I think it will be, it needs to win both of these games. And then go on to the Ravens at home, a division game, and feel confident about going against Lamar Jackson and what I think is the best team in the NFC North right now. But all that being said, I can put this all into Kenny Pickett is performing way under expectations. He looks really bad, and the Steelers are scaring me. And that's all I'm going to say. I still have hope in the Steelers. I still have hope in Pickett. I still have a sliver of hope in Najee. I have no hope in Matt Canada. I just need him to not be terrible for this season, and then I need Mike Tomlin to understand that he needs to be fired and stop being loyal to him. But Pickett, right now, after, recency bias last game, it looks like that was on you. Okay. The AFC right now and NFC, all the teams right now, it just seems weird 2 weeks in. It's hard to get a grasp on what's going to happen for the rest of the season because so much of what I believed was going to happen is not happening. That's basically what I was trying to say. I was trying to find a fancy show way to say it. But let's get in and start with the Chiefs. Okay, they got Chris Jones back. He got a sack. automatically made a difference in the defense. They got Travis Kelce back, automatically made a difference in the offense. I can't think of how many yards he got right now, but he got a touchdown. Travis Kelce is going to always make a big difference in the red zone for the Chiefs, and he makes a big difference in their entire offense. And they were able to get the win against a very good Jags team, and that defense was able to hold what I believe to be a very good Jags offense to 9 points. Now, there has to be an asterisk by that, I believe, because there was about 2 to 3 like in the end zone, like caught but didn't get, like the receiver didn't get the second foot in. Like there were 3 very close touchdowns that, you know, if it's in a different world on a different Sunday, we're looking at a different game. So the Chiefs just got by and the Jags had some unlucky breaks, but that's a good win for the Chiefs, and they're confident in that win, I'm sure. Now they're 1-1, and they feel confident having Chris Jones back, having Travis Kelce back, and a little bit of news recently this week. Patrick Mahomes' contract just got reconstructed. He's getting like $210 million for 4 years, about $52 million a year. He's the highest paid. He's the highest paid player in league history. There's not even no new news in that, but he deserves it. So the thing about the Chiefs that makes me nervous is that there's no clear wide receiver one. I still saw wide receivers that were not catching easy balls and not making plays, and the Chiefs offense didn't look as dominant as it usually does in September at the beginning of the year. They always look like it's just easy for them when the year starts. I think for the Chiefs, it's going to just be patience and seeing where they're at the end of the year. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. He has wide receiver core that's not the best, but he's going to make them better every time. I think as each week goes by, the Chiefs are going to get more comfortable. He's going to get more comfortable with those receivers. Those receivers are going to get more comfortable with him, and the Chiefs are going to look like the Chiefs. All it's going to come down to is if they get first in that division so that every playoff game is going through them, and how they look at the end of the season, because we can't have those, or the Chiefs can't have those dropped balls, those simple dropped balls, shit like that when the playoffs start. It has to be locked in. Those drives where it's like it's the third quarter and we need a touchdown, or it's a close game, and if we don't score, because it was like that in Jacksonville where Trevor Lawrence, they go down and get a touchdown, and it's a different feeling. It's more pressure. In those pressurized moments, those young receivers or those receivers that aren't performing right now in week 2, they got to perform in week 16, 17 in those first few games of the playoffs, and that's what it's going to come down to. Chiefs have the Bears, then the Jets. Bears, that's going to be an easy win, and I think it's going to be an easy way from those for the receivers to have there's no easy games in the NFL. I mean, better football minds than me tell me that all the time, so I won't say that, but that's going to be one of the easiest wins the Chiefs will get. Then the Jets, they have a really good defense and a really bad offense. Another time for those Chiefs to just get more comfortable with each other. Then that's what every game to me for the Chiefs is going to be, is how much better do those receivers look and how much easier and fluid is that offense is going to look. Because Patrick Mahomes is going to do his job, Travis Kelce is going to do his job, Andy Reid is going to do his job, and everybody else has to just do their job a little bit, and the Chiefs are still going to be a Super Bowl threat. That's the only thing with the Chiefs, is how are their wide receivers going to grow and develop and play as the year progresses. Now the Dolphins. Another impressive win against the in-division team, the Patriots, a Bill Belichick team. I'm going to say this with the Patriots right off. They played 2 hard games against 2 good teams, and they played them very well to the end of the game. So I respect to the Patriots. I don't think, the Patriots are 0-2, but I think their record is worse than what their team is, if that makes sense. But back to the Dolphins, because this is what this is about. It was a quiet night for Tyreek Hill and Waddle, and I want to get their stats because I think this is important for how good the Dolphins are, how good Mike McDaniels is, and how good Tua is. Let me just get this up really quickly. I'll probably cut this out. Tyreek Hill, 5 catches for 40 yards. Jalen Waddle, 4 catches for 86 yards. Waddle had a good game, but when I was watching that game, it didn't seem like that. Like 4 receptions for 86 yards. That sounds a lot better than what it looked like watching that game. The Patriots played really good defense on them. And the thing that impressed me about the Dolphins is they ran the ball really well. Their defense played pretty good, and Tua was very patient. And it showed me that they're able to win in more than one way, and that they don't need to do these big throws, these big bombs down the field. It impressed me a lot because that's in division. That's great defense that they're playing against, and that's patience to play that way. And they moved down the field methodically. That dissected the defense. Mike McDaniels, and I want to make sure I'm not I'm saying it's Mike McDaniels. That's the coach of the Dolphins, right? That could be really bad of me if I'm getting that wrong. But Mike McDaniels and Tua just dissected that defense, and I think that's impressive. And I think that it shows in those tough playoff games where you can't just win the way you usually do with your two great fast wide receivers and your quarterback that gets it out of his arm in 2.2 seconds. You can still have an ability to win and a way to win, and that's what impressed me about that win against the Patriots, and that's what impressed me about the Dolphins. Now, in the next couple of weeks, the Dolphins are going to have the Broncos, the Bills, the Giants. Broncos, I'll talk about the Broncos one of these weeks, but that's going to be a good game for them. The Bills is going to be the real game that I'm looking at for the Dolphins and for the Bills both. But the Dolphins, I want to see them in the playoffs, and I want to see, the only thing I'm worried about is if Tua stays healthy. That's what it's going to be every week with the Dolphins. I feel like I can almost stop talking about them, and I probably will until they do something fucked up, because if Tua's healthy, if Waddle's healthy, if Hill's healthy, they can beat anyone. They can get out into a shootout with anyone, and they can play good against different defenses that can try to force them to do different things, and they still will win. I'm impressed with the Dolphins. I'm impressed with how they've looked after 2 weeks. Exciting. Another AFC team, the Ravens. And the Ravens, there's something about the way that they're winning, I won't lie, it's not impressing me. But Lamar is. He's looking like a pocket passer. Let me see. Let me read his stats off really quick, because Lamar, you haven't seen too many videos of Lamar making these crazy runs, but it's because he hasn't needed to, and you can see he's trusting in his arm, and it's working for him, which I'm happy about with seeing with Lamar. They had a 27-24 win against the Bengals, an 0-2 team that I'm not too worried. The Bengals are just, it's weird. They've started 0-2 before. Joe Burrow has the calf injury, so everything with that is a whole nother conversation. But back to Lamar. At this game, 24 for 33, 237 yards, 2 TDs, 0 interceptions, a 112 quarterback rating, and an 81.8 QBR. It's just something about it that I'm not impressed. Maybe it's because it's not the flashy way, and it is, which is interesting, and it's interesting for me to say that, because I love Lamar, I love the Ravens, but the first 2 games, they haven't made me go and look at them and watch them play. But I think Lamar is being a great pocket passer. I think he's making way less mistakes, and I think he is going to be I think that's one of the few things, episode 1 of Garrett's Football Show, that I was right about. Lamar is going to be one of the best passing quarterbacks in the league when it's all said and done, when the season ends. I think he's going to stay healthy because he's not taking the same risk, and I think we're going to be able to see a side of the Ravens at the end of the year that we've never seen. Odell Beckham had the ankle injury, and that's the thing with the Ravens at the end of the season as well, is how healthy are they, and how clutch is Lamar's throws going to be in big time games. But the Ravens this year are going to be the Ravens every year. They're going to win a lot of games. It's just going to look a little bit different, and it has looked a little bit different. But the Ravens are one of those teams, they're like the Bills, in the same way that the Bills are going to win a lot of games every season. What are we going to see in the playoffs? And that's kind of what my question is with Lamar. They're going to get to the playoffs. They're going to most likely win the AFC North. What does he do in the playoffs, and how healthy is everyone? But, they looked good. Zay Flowers had a crazy touch, or almost touchdown throw. Lamar put it on a dime for him. What? And that's what I was kind of saying with, kind of when I was trying to do that thing at the beginning of the episode with the teams. I just don't think I've seen enough of the Ravens this season to just kind of go all in on them. But I'm very impressed with Lamar and how he's looked being a pocket passer, and I'm very excited to continue watching the Ravens. Now, let's get into our NFC teams. So that was my talk about the AFC. Steelers, Chiefs, Dolphins, Ravens, all teams that I'm excited about and watching. Bills, they had a blowout. Let's just see if Josh Allen can keep himself from doing anything stupid in an important game, and that's going to be that Dolphins game. Bengals, they have that Joe Burrow injury. Maybe they should have kept him out a little bit longer. Jags, I'm not worried. Like I said, that game could have went a lot different, but a lot of things still have to shake out in the AFC. But, Chiefs are looking a little different, so I had to talk about them. Dolphins look great, had to talk about them. Ravens, I think, are kind of shooting under the board, or kind of no one's really talking about them the way they should. So I wanted to mention that. But let's get into, I don't talk about NFC teams a lot. Let me talk about a few NFC teams and just kind of where I'm at with them. First, the Bears. All I want to say of the Bears is I'm completely disappointed. Justin Fields, I don't know if it's you. I don't know if it's the coaches. I don't know if what's going on in that Chicago locker room or behind closed doors. But they are using Justin Fields terribly. But when Justin Fields throws the ball, he also looks awful. Everything I said about the Bears, I was wrong about, and that's the only reason that I'm mentioning them. Justin Fields ran the ball, and that's what I'm looking up right now. Justin Fields ran the ball 4 times for 3 yards. He was supposed to be a dual threat quarterback that had a lot of Lamar moments, and they're not even using him to do that. He can't throw the ball. Everything I said about the Bears, throw it out the window. They're ass, and I think they're going to continue to be ass. I'm not even sure how many good moments they're going to have. So, yeah. That's what I had to say with the Bears is that, I was wrong. And like I always say on Garrett's Football Show, I can admit when I'm wrong. Now the 49ers. We're going to get into the Cowboys, so I can just say that right off the bat. But this is the most electric and scary all-around team in the NFC. Last week, they had 3 receivers over 40 yards. Christian McCaffrey had 116 yards running. He looks absolutely unstoppable. I mean, they did play, and let me go back to that because I know they played. I'm forgetting. It's like spacing me right now, but a team that's not impressive. Oh, wait. Hold on. I'm tweaking right now. Who did they play? They played the Rams. Actually, yeah, I'm completely tweaking. They played the Rams, and what I said was going to be a close game. That's an in-division game, so those are going to always be played tough. The 49ers all around look for real. I think they're the best team in the NFC, and I think that because of how good the Cowboys look right now, it's easy to forget about the 49ers, but playoff time, end of the season time, I think the 49ers are going to continue to look that good. Christian McCaffrey, if he stays healthy, he's going to continue to look like that good. They just have the best all-around team. 49ers are scary. 49ers are who, if I'm betting who's going to be in the Super Bowl between like all the big NFC teams right now, like the Cowboys, the Eagles, because it's the Eagles, and them, I'm going 49ers. Now, let's get into the Cowboys. I can admit, because I watched that game last week against the Jets, Micah Parsons is the best all-around defensive player in the league because just the ability that he is able to make on every single snap, how athletic he is, how just like you can put him so many different places and it's all the same. It's no one can stop him. He's unguardable. He is dominant. He is one of the first defensive players that I can say has a real shot after 2 weeks to be the MVP. I mean, he's that good. That's why I said at the beginning of the show, TJ Watt is still the best pass rusher in the league, but Micah Parsons the best all-around defensive player. He's a monster. Pause. Now, the offense, I just want to see Dak in a big game, in a shootout, win the game or not make mistakes. The offense has looked great. I'm hearing all the talks of Mike McCarthy. He's calling plays, and I could see even as I'm a little bit of above a casual fan of football, but I never played the sport. I don't know the science of it, but even from that perspective, I was able to see how quick that offense was moving and how different it is Mike McCarthy is calling those plays. And Dak looks confident. CD looks really good. Their running attack looked great. They have the best defense in the league, I'd say. But that offense, I just don't trust in Dak, and that's why I said episode 1, the Cowboys are always going to be a team to watch because if you know anything about NFL, you knew we were going to feel this way. You didn't know it was going to happen like this, but every season there is that point where we all look at the Cowboys and say this should be the team playing in the Super Bowl for the NFC. And every time it happens, Dak Prescott does some bullshit. So that's like It's only week 2. So many of these teams, I hate to give you guys this analysis, but it's like we have to wait and see. If Dak continues to play like this and his whole season looks like this, then you got me. The Cowboys are going to play in the Super Bowl. But I've yet to see that. In history tells me that Dak is going to fuck up in a big moment. But that's all it is with the Cowboys. That's the only thing stopping them. I mean, the Jets' defense is a really good defense, and Dak looked really good against them. It was also game 2, and his offense had multiple stops. I mean, his defense had multiple stops. It makes it easy on him. Like, if the Cowboys look like this week 17, and Dak, when it's a shootout against a really good team, another good quarterback where the defense isn't able to just get stop after stop, that's when I'm going to have my opinion on the Cowboys, and that's when I'm going to start to get convinced on the Cowboys. Now, I looked at their schedule, and I'm about to look at it now. It's not an easy schedule. So there's going to be some games for Dak to have to, maybe get into a shootout and prove it to me. Cardinals, okay, that's the Cardinals. Patriots, that's a good defense, but he's not going to get into a shootout. 49ers, Chargers, Rams. 49ers, Chargers, Rams, back to back to back. The Chargers can't seem to win shit against anyone. And the Chargers, again, I've said it every time, they seem to be a poverty franchise, and they maybe need to get rid of their head coach. So that's a shootout that, is a perfect shootout for, Dak to come and actually win, because the Chargers never win shootouts. But 49ers and Rams, I think those are games that could happen to be shootouts. And could tell us a lot about Dak, but we just won't know until the playoffs with the Cowboys. The Cowboys are going to be entertaining. They're going to look good. The defense is going to get probably a couple stops a game. And Dak, as long as he doesn't throw interceptions, as long as he doesn't make mistakes, as long as he doesn't look like he is tweaking out in the pocket, the Cowboys have everything they should to get to the Super Bowl this year. So that's all I can say about them. Let's just give it some time. Now the Eagles. Out of all the NFC teams, I still think the Eagles are the cream of the crop because they have the best quarterback, and which is interesting in a league where if you have the best quarterback 9 times out of 10, you're going to be the best team. The Eagles have the best quarterback. I still think they're the cream of the crop, but out of those 3 teams in the NFC I just mentioned, I'm most nervous about them because they don't look the best. Now, they're running the ball a lot. Their defense is okay. Their O-line is really, really good, which is why they're running the ball. But you have A.J. Brown, shitty that he's not getting enough targets in a game where they're winning. It's just they have all different coordinators, different defensive coordinator, different offensive coordinators. Something about the Eagles doesn't look right to me. And I wanted to be a fan of the Eagles and come in and say I was wrong about saying I wasn't convinced in them last year. But they're one of those teams where the Eagles are 2-0, but they don't feel like they're 2-0 to me. Kirkio got fucked on that Thursday night game. Like, you had that weird-ass Looney Tune play with Justin Jefferson. That is really nobody's fault. You had a couple fumbles where that's not Kirkio's fault. Kirkio had 31 for 44, 364 yards, 4 TDs, 0 interceptions. Everyone wants to make fun of Kirkio on late-night games, but the Vikings could have easily won that game, and the Eagles kind of, they didn't get away with one because they played a good game as well, but the Eagles are 2-0. It doesn't feel like it to me. I feel like the Eagles could, it could go either way on their season, and it's still at a tipping point where I feel like if you're in the Eagles locker room right now or in the coaching staff, they are probably saying there is a lot that we have to get better at. There's a lot that we have to fix before we have these games against the Cowboys, before we have these games. I mean, even the Commanders, that's an in-division game that, I'm not too sure about. The Buccaneers, I'll end this with the Eagles. They have the Buccaneers this week, and I'm gonna get into previews because I always do, but with this game specifically, if the Eagles win barely, I will be very scared for the Eagles. I think the Eagles should win this game by at least a touchdown. And actually, that was me just saying that to not sound like I had a fear of looking bad. They should win, in my opinion, the Eagles should win this game against the Buccaneers by 10 points. I really believe that. And if they don't, I will be very impressed about the Buccaneers, and I haven't done it yet. I want everyone to know I've been looking at Baker Mayfield and looking at the Buccaneers, and it's not going past my eye. I just haven't wanted to talk about it on the show. But if the Eagles come in and lose to the Buccaneers, I'm very scared for the Eagles, and the Buccaneers will be talked about on Garrett's Football Show next week. If the Eagles barely beat the Buccaneers, I'm not talking about the Buccaneers on the show, but I probably will talk about the Eagles and how I'm more scared for them and how I think there is going to be another NFC team that's going to slide into that third spot. But the Eagles, I think, have a lot that they need to do. I think they're still at the beginning of the season, and I think they're going to have to start playing better, performing better overall if they want to come out of the NFC like they did last year. The NFC looks a lot better. The Falcons look a lot better. Seahawks just looked like they just had a really good win against the Seahawks just had a really good win against the Lions. Packers, they just had a close game against the Falcons, but the Packers look good. Like the NFC, the Saints, the Saints haven't looked good, but Derek Carr is over here talking about he looks serious about winning a Super Bowl or getting far in the playoffs. The NFC is more up in the air, I'm realizing, as I'm paying more attention to the division. And if the Eagles don't start looking like they're going to perform better, it's not surprising for me to say that they will not make it as far as they did last year. I don't think the Eagles look too impressive, even though they're 2-0. But yeah, those are the teams I want to talk about with the NFC. But let me just get into something because we're only at 31 minutes here. We're making good timing. A few NFC teams I want to just say something small about. Packers, I'm impressed by the Packers. I'm impressed by Jordan Field. My friends that are Packers fans know I love to talk shit about the Packers, but the Packers could have easily won that game. Falcons, they have a very specific style. They have two really good running backs. They play their way. Bijan Robinson, he is one of the best running backs I've seen in a couple of years. The NFC is interesting to me this year, and I think what's going to happen in the playoffs and as the season progresses is we're going to get some NFC teams that are in the playoffs that we haven't seen in the playoffs in a while, and I think we're going to get at least one NFC team that's winning a playoff game or getting to the divisional game that no one was expecting. For some reason, not even me. I think I'm going to expect it as the weeks go on, but the NFC is very interesting this year. Way more interesting than I thought it would be, and the AFC is competitive like I knew it would be, but it's also interesting to me as well. Like, this is a very good NFL season to watch, but it's hard of me trying to be an analyst making my guesses because shit's kind of interesting. But yeah, that was my football analysis for the week. I haven't talked about the Colts, and I realized that. I'm going to get a Colts video out this week, and that's my guarantee to all Garrett's Football Show fans, and I'm recording this in an Indianapolis basement. Anthony Richardson looks great. He's had, both weeks he's had some shit happen where it's very scary, what's going on in the way we're using him, in the way that he's playing. So there's a lot to talk about with the Colts, and I'm going to have to do that, and I will get to that. So that's another promise. But, yeah, let's get into guesses for week 3 of NFL football. I do want to make it known I went 12 for 4 last week. The only 4 that I missed was that the only 4 that I missed was did I even get these wrong? I had the Lions beating the Seahawks. That's what I got wrong. I had the Chargers beating the Titans. That's what I got wrong. Chargers can't win a close game. And I had the Vikings beating the Eagles. Like I said, that game they kind of fucked with Kirky a little bit. So I've been doing pretty good, actually. 12 and 4, you can't hate on that. So let's get into Thursday night game, Giants at 49ers. I got 49ers in a very easy win. Damn, I don't have my pen or my highlighter. 49ers in an easy win. Colts at Ravens. I got Ravens, no matter if AR plays or not. But he shouldn't because he's, I think, in concussion protocol. Steelers at Raiders. I got Steelers. Pickett, you got to play better. Titans at Browns. I got Titans. They just came off a good win. Browns, a terrible Nick Chubb injury. I got Titans. Broncos at Dolphins. I'm going to go Dolphins. Patriots at Jets. I'm going to go Patriots here. Bills at Commanders. Bills. Falcons at Lions. I'm going to go Falcons. And I'm kind of joining the bandwagon here because I like the Lions a lot. And I always want to bet on the Lions. But I got Falcons in this game. But depending on what the over is, I got the over being over 35 points. So depending on, I'm not going to go and look at it, but I got the over 35. Saints at Packers. another good game, and a game with the opportunity to become more impressed in Packers quarterback. More impressed in Love. I'm gonna go Packers here. Texans at Jags. I got Jags. Chargers at Vikings. I got Vikings, bro. 2 0-2 teams that are really good that shouldn't be 0-2. That's going to be an interesting game. Panthers at Seahawks. I'm going to go Seahawks. Cowboys at Cardinals. Cowboys. Bears at Chiefs. Chiefs. 2 Monday night games again. Eagles at the Bucks. Eagles by 10 points. Rams at Bengals. I'm going to go Bengals because even though I want to say Rams, I just don't see a world where Joe Burrow and the Bengals go down 0-3. So I'm going to go Bengals. But that is episode 3 of Garrett's Football Show. We kind of felt like I was running through things, but the episode is 35 minutes, so that tells you how much I can talk. I feel like I could have talked for 40 more minutes. But that's Garrett's Football Show, Season 2, Episode 3. If you watched 2 seconds of this video, all 35 minutes, 15 minutes, no matter what, even if you just tuned in to look at the YouTube, I appreciate it. Like and subscribe. We're going to have a new episode every week. That's never going to change. Go and follow me on TikTok at GS Studios. I post content specifically for there almost every day. Go follow me on Instagram. I post the show clips every day. It's GFS.2022 on Instagram. I'll put it in the description of the YouTube video. But yeah, like and subscribe to the videos. We're going to always bring out new videos every week. And we're going to try to give you guys the best football analysis that there is out there. Next week, I'm going to have another guest with me. But that is a wrap. See you guys. Stay safe out there.